us that for better.
Yeah, because I'm not working. So, personal prayer. Calling on Maya. Calling on Maya. So, good morning, friends. Great to be together on this beautiful, beautiful Shabbat morning. Made even more beautiful because Maya is becoming a bat mitzvah. So, those of us who are here in the sanctuary, those who are here via Zoom, great to be together. We're all joining together as one in prayer and learning and celebration. So, we're going to begin our service on page 140 as Maya leads us in the Matovu.
Ma tovu ochalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael Lani berov chastecha avovetecha eshtachavet elhecha kodecha
Goodly are your dwellings, O Jacob, your sanctuaries, O Israel. Thanks to your abundant kindness, Adonai, I am able to enter your house. Here I worship in your presence, Adonai, my Maker. In kindness, Adonai, answer my prayer. Mercifully grant us your abiding help. Let's all rise. Page 146.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sakviv v'na l'kafim ben yom uvein layla.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzamo.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asanu b'nei chorim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokea kibrihim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rofa haaretz al hamayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa likol tzaddikim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher echin b'tzadei gabher.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otei Yisrael b'tifaraha.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanotein v'yaev kohav. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir shenai me'einainu ma'me'afapai.
We can all be seated once again, continuing with the blessing for Torah learning 152.
Sorry, my book is stuck. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah v'ein Adonai Eloheinu melech Israel. Baruch atah Adonai lamei Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu l'kolam asher bakar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu v'torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. A Kibbutz Torah on Bereshit. There are at least 3 things special about this Shabbat. First, it is a new year as we read the first Parsha. It is Shabbat Mevarachim, where we recite blessings for the new month of Heshvan, which starts Tuesday evening. And finally, it is Maya's Bat Mitzvah, when she will read the Haftorah from Isaiah, echoing the Torah's portions, recounting of the creation of the world in 6 days, and prophesying the final redemption. According to the Mishnah, or oral tradition, there are 4 New Year days. The first of Nisan is Rosh Hashanah, or the birth of the world. The 15th of Shavat, Tu B'Shvat, is the New Year of the trees. Moses is instructed are associated with these days. We can add a few of our own. The 1st of January is obvious. The day we were born. The day after you finish reading Talmud and start over, although that usually takes a little under 8 years. This Shabbat, as we begin reading the books of Moses anew. And my favorite, today, the beginning of the rest of our lives. Happy New Year. Continuing with Kaddish de Rabbanan, page 154. This is a Mourner's Kaddish. Mourners will please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. Be'alma dibra kirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chay dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam ulamei amaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan v'al Tamidehom. V'al kol Tamidehom. V'al kol madios kin v'oraita. Dibiatra hadain v'dibikol atar v'atar. Yehi l'chon shlama rabba. China v'chista v'rachamin. V'chayin arvikin umsom nervikei. Umforchana mikedam v'hon b'shemaya v'yatra v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom v'imrumav. Hu barachamav yasei shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Psalm for Shabbat 168. Tov l'hadot l'Adonai l'med v'deka el Kinam l'techa min ha'techa l'yashem l'techa min Adonai Y'tamino le'olam Adonai ki hanen Adonai ki hanen Tasnai Sadikata Habahifra Ke'eretz Bavanun Yizke Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrihu Odinu Bum B'Seva Dishenim Bera'anim Yihu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Zori Velo Avlatavo. All rise, Sukkei Simra, page 180. Baruch Shemar V'Kayah HaOlam Baruch Hu Baruch Ozer Bereshit Baruch Omer V'Yoseh Baruch Ozer Mechayim Baruch Merakhem HaHaretz Baruch Merakhem HaBrihot Baruch Mishalem Sakar Tov L'Vreya Baruch Haylah V'Kayah LaNetzach Baruch Podeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu melech haolam ha'el ha'av rachaman, hamulad lefi ahamo, Mishubach umefohar, Mishubach umefohar, Bilshon hasidah v'avadah, Shirei David Avdecha, Melech Adonai Eloheinu, Bishvakot uvizmihirot, Bishvakot uvizmihirot, Negadelcha mishabercha unvahercha, Eraskedoshincha v'namlekecha mahakenu Eloheinu, Yachid hei ha'olami melech mishubach umefohar hadei ha'shemo hagadol, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Melech meholal batish b'chol. We're all seated, continuing Ashrei, page 190. Ashrei, Ashrei Beitecha, Od Alelucha Selah.
Ashrei ha'asher lo, Ashrei ha'asher Adonai Elohai.
Tehila leDavid, Adonai Kolechaycha Melech, V'bracha Shemcha le'olam va'ed.
V'cho yom avarchecha, v'ahalala shimacha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol, Adonai Melech Meod, V'litu le'ato hen keker.
Roy le'roy shabach ma'asecha, v'rutecha yagidu.
Adar kivod hodek anifleni fotecha asicha.
Ve'ezuz marotecha yomeru, v'duatecha asaprena.
Zecher Avtecha yabihu, V'zikrecha yiranenu.
Hanun barachum Adonai, erech apayim ugdal
Chesed, Tov, Adonai lekov, Rakamav kol masaha.
Yaduchach Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Yevod malchutecha yomeru, V'duretecha yedaberu.
Ve'hodia livnei ha'adam gevurotah, v'kod hador malchuto.
Malchutecha malchutecha olamim, U'memshaltecha b'kol dohor v'ador.
Samech Adonai l'kol ha'nochlim, zokech l'kol ha'kefufim.
Yinecha lecha yisaberu, V'yatamik edekan klam b'ito.
Oteach et yadecha, v'tzvil l'kol
L'kol
chai
chai ratzon.
Tzaddik, Adonai b'kol derachaha, V'chasid b'kol masaha.
Arov Adonai L'kol Torav, L'kol asher yikra'uhu b'emet.
Tzon v'yav ya'aseh, V'yet Shabbatam yishma v'yoshiem.
Shomer Adonai kol ohavav, V'kol harshatim yashmir.
Tehilat Adonai yedaber pi, V'varecho basar shem kodsho le'olam va'ed. V'anaknu v'rechiah, Me'ata v'yed olam. Hallelujah! Hallelujah, 194. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah bekodsho. Hallelujah berkiah uzo. Hallelujah benivorotah. Hallelujah kerohut lo. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah beteka shofar. Hallelujah benivel vechinor. Hallelujah betofu malkol. Hallelujah b'dirim v'yugav. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah b'tzil talei shama. Hallelujah b'tzil talei trua. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol neshama hallelujah. Hallelujah. page 196. Nishmat kol kai devreket shemka Adonai Eloheinu v'ru kol basar Milata el Yeshua Potetu matzil Eglanu melech ala'ata Milak u'mishmalak u'miraklak Ahel hagadol hagibor v'hanora el elyon Konei shemayim v'ha'aretz Nehalel cham sheberekaka u'fererka Unvarek et shem kochecha kamor leDavid Barakina nafshi et Adonai b'kol kerovai Et shem kocho
Shkochian, we continue our service with Cantor on page 218, Shochenad.
Shochenad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ronenu tzadikim b'Adonai Hasharim nava tehillah v'fi yesharim titalal u'divrei tzadikim titbarach ובלשון החסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקהלות לבבות עמך בית ישראל. הנה יפעל שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור, שכן חובת כל היצורים לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקלס, על כל דברי שירו ותשבחות, תביא בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך, לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש, בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, עוז וממשלה, נצח גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והרום מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך וברוך שמו,
אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודעות, אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אלוהי העולמים.
We'll continue with our Bat Mitzvah, Chatzi Kaddish 220.
Yikadav yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrachute v'yamlich malchute b'chayecha beit Yisrael. Ubizman karim v'meru. Shmei Rabbah Mevara, Le'alam Le'omaya, Yipara v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramah v'yitnaseh, v'yitatar v'yitale v'yitalal, Shmei Nekudesha Le'elam Mikol Berchata v'shirata, Tushechata v'nechemata, Damiram Be'alma V'meru.
I'd like to invite cousins Evan and Eliza to join us on the Bima to open the Aron Kodesh. And as the ark is about to be opened, Eliza. 224.
Baruchu et Adonai Avorach.
Baruch Adonai Morach Leolam Va'ed.
לעולם ועד. לילה, 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 לילה,
We're all seated, continuing on page 226.
הכל יודוך והכל ישבחוך והכל ימלך השפעים. העיקר ככה אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס ברצך גואלנו למות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
Eladon 228.
אל אדון על כל המעשים ברוך וברך בפי כל נשמה, גדלו וטובו מלא עולם, דעת ותכונה סובבים אותו, עמיקה על חיות הקודש, נדע בכבוד על המרכבה, זכות ומישור לפני כיסאו, חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו, טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו, יצר בטח בבינה ופשכל, כוח וגבורה נתן בהם, להיות מושלים בקרב תבל, ולהעיב זיווך וכינוה, נעזיבם בכל העולם, שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם, עושים בהם הרצון קונם, ואר וכבוד נותנים לשמו, צוהל עברים על זכר מלכותו, קרא לשמש ויזרחון, ראה והקים סורת הלבנה, שבע נונים לו, כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה, סרחים ואופנים וחיות הקודש.
Continue on the following page, 230.
לאל אשר שבה מכל המעשים ביום השביעי תאמר לשם כיסא ידו ובית המנוחה. תברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך, והמאורי אור שעשית יאפרו חסדיך.
234.
תברך צורנו אלוקינו וגואלנו, בורא קדושים ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. וכולם פותחים בפיהם בקדושה וטהרה, בשירה ובזמרה, וברכיהם ומשבחים ופארים ומהליצים ומהקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא הקדוש הוא. לכולם מקבלים עליכם ומלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותרים רשות זה לזה, להקדיש רצרה מנחת רוח, בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה, כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש קדוש קדוש, נשיאים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם שבחים ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
236.
לאל ברוך נגמות ייתן. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, 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 ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
And so let's join together on 238, Ahava Rabbah, the great love of God in Israel through the gift of Torah.
אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ויתרה, חמלת עלינו. אבינו מלכנו, בעבור אבותינו, שברכו בך, אבינו מלכנו. והתלמדם חוקי-חיים, כן תכוננו למדנו, אבינו ברוך אמן, המרחם רחם עלינו, ותן בלבנו להבין ולהסכים לשמוע, ולעבור ולמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים וכל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה.
Courtney and Michael, if you might join your daughter on the bima and bring to mind the talit that she wears today in becoming a bat mitzvah, and placing this talit and wrapping your daughter in the talit and wrapping her in the traditions, the ideals, the wisdom, the mitzvot, the commandments, the past and now the future of our people Israel. Maya, if you'll recite the bracha for wearing the talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehi'ateh v'asiti.
Amen.
והארננו בתורתך ושבק בנו במצוותיך ויחד לבבנו ליהבה וליראה את שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא הגדול והנורא פתחנו נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
All of us wearing the talit will gather now the four tzitzit of our talit, the four main fringes on each of the corners of the talit as we pray for the ongoing ingathering of our people from the four corners of the earth to the land, the state of Israel. We continue on 240, Vahavienu, and following the closing bracha, Maya, you're on with Shema. Okay?
והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ ותולכנו קוממיות לארצנו כי ילכו וישועות אתה ובנו בחרת מכל
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ya'alta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'b'techa u'b'techa v'derech u'b'shafecha u'kamecha u'shartam le'od al-yadecha v'hayu l'todacho b'ninecha u'ktabtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha.
We continue individually, 244, 245. Vayomer 246.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lehem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem letorotam ve'natenu al tzitzit הכנף ותתכלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם לכל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם
Amen. 248, 249.
לדרבדה הוא קיים ושמו קיים וכיסו אנחנו מלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו יוצרנו צור ישועתנו פודנו מצילנו מעולם שמך אין אלוהים זולתך.
Let's find ourselves in the middle of page 251. We'll join together there responsively. From Egypt you redeemed us, Adonai our God. From the house of bondage you delivered us. Revealed your saving power at the sea.
And the children of Israel passed through in safety.
Tyranny was defeated, enslavement was ended, the dawn of freedom had come at last.
Therefore they praised and extolled you. They offered you prayers of fervent thanksgiving.
They acclaimed you as the ever-living God, great and revered, exalted in majesty.
You humble the haughty and raise up the lowly. You free the captives and redeem the weak.
You help those in need and answer your people when they cry out to you. Top of page 252.
Baruch u'borach, Moshe v'nei Yisrael l'chanu shira, v'simcha rabah v'yamru cholam, mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nedav hakodesh, yorot elot osefele,
So we begin the morning, the Shachrit Amidah, 255.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים מטרה והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נוכלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אכזרים, ומקיים אמונתו ושנה יפה. בעל גבולות ומדום מלך, מלך ממי ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לאחיו ביתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
Kedusha 256.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו משמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, כרזל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו. אז בכל רעש גדול אדיר וחזק אדיר וחזק משלים בו ונוסעים ליום הצלחים
Tobim.
Le'yom atam, Baruch Yameru. Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimekomo. Mimkomcha Malkeinu Tovia. V'timno Aleinu. Kimechakim Anachnu Lach. Timloch Etzion. Bekarov b'yameinu le'olam va'ed tishkon. Bekarov b'yameinu le'olam va'ed tishkon. Titgadal v'titgadash b'toch Yerushalayim ircha. Le'tor v'dor u'le'etzach netzachim. Ve'eneinu tirena machutecha. Kadavar ha'amud b'shirei uzecha. Ayedei David Mashiach tzikecha. Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Tzion, L'dor v'dor, Hallelujah. L'dor v'dor, nahig alecha. L'dor v'dor, nahig alecha. U'netzach netzachim, kedushatecha nakish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu.
Eloheinu.
Lo yamush le'avared. Yamelech. Gadol v'kadosh. Gadol v'kadosh ata. Baruch atah Adonai
We'll take a few moments now for individual and quiet prayer. We can continue in the morning Amidah 258, 259 through 266, 267. Beautiful. Beautiful, Maya. Let's turn to page 268.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. ילמד יברכנו תביעת נחמכותך וחייכון וביומכון וחיי לכו בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולם. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בימיו ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובאותכון בכל ישראל קודם אבוכון דבשמיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה או יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו
So here we are at the age of 13. Our bat mitzvah Maya has already been to Israel, I'm happy and proud to say. Been to Israel celebrating, Evan, your bar mitzvah, right? Your bar mitzvah. And I know that when you were in Israel for Evan's bar mitzvah, one of the places to which you went was the Kotel, the Western Wall, right? How can you be in Israel without going to the Western Wall? So it was David and Robin who chose to have the bar mitzvah in Israel. So it only is right that you offer a reading today called The Wall.
Would you like me to read?
Probably.
To the promised land we went together. Together we stood on the Mount of Olives, where breathlessly we watched as the sun shone from a cloudless, inspiring sky, casting its glow of gold upon the view eternally etched in Jerusalem's stone. Together we chanted at the Western Wall, which breathed with prayers, faithfully placed between its ancient stones, or with holy words uttered there. Words transcending time and flesh and bones. Entwined we were together, with our children, with our families, entwined by the strong silk thread of sacred moments shared. Together, yet embraced by this blessed place. I felt peacefully apart, peacefully alone. Thank you.
So as has been our custom here at Ohev Shalom, we're going to take a ever so short hapsaka break before we start the Torah service. So if you want to stretch out a little bit, talk to your neighbor, whatever, tell the story, we'll be picking up. Okay? Ready for, what's that? Okay, friends, Michael has returned to his seat, which means fun and games are over. And we'll all follow Michael's lead. And now we turn to the Torah Service, which begins with Maya, page 312. 312.
En kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ve'en kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol amim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimlach le'olam va'ed, Adonai hos le'amoriten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Al harachamim heitiva v'rtzoncha et Zion. Tivnei cholam Yerushalayim, Tivnei chol Yerushalayim, Ki becha levad matavnu, Elech Elram v'nisa Adon olamim.
Let's all rise as the ark is about to be opened.
Vayahi binso ha'aron, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, ve'chutzu oilecha, ve'anusu b'samecha mipanecha, ki Zion te'tet Torah, ki Zion te'tet Torah,
Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim.
Baruch Shenachon Torah Torah, Baruch Shenachon Torah Torah, Le'Adonai Yisrael B'kedushato. I would like to express my appreciation to God for the many blessings in my life, especially for allowing my family and friends to be with me today and for keeping them healthy and safe. I am thankful to my parents for supporting me in all of my decisions. Although I don't like to admit it, I am also thankful for my brother for making me a stronger person and pushing me to be a good role model. My community and the Jewish community are very important to me. I am very fortunate to have the ability to help others. Even before my bat mitzvah, my family packed boxes and delivered food to people in the area through the Jewish Relief Agency, which I will continue to do monthly in the future. Also, I will regularly attend Shabbat services and participate in the celebration of Jewish holidays, including fasting for Yom Kippur and even making challah with my dad for Shabbat and Rosh Hashanah. I will continue my Jewish education at Ohev Shalom and hopefully do a high school or college program in Israel. In 2 years, we will be back here as I read the Torah at Asher's Bar Mitzvah. I am proud to make the promise to God to do all these things in the future.
Amen.
Amen. Kadisha Vehera avakadama Datita Vidioraita Vetashli Mishalin Delibi Veli Batecholamach Yisrael Vetabul Chayin Velishlach Amen.
Page 320.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shmo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai,
Kavlu Adonai iti, Uvemrama Shema Yavdah.
והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי כה בשמיים ובארץ שמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להדום רגליו קדוש הוא רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Oh, we can all be seated. Friends, today we begin the reading of the Torah. Once again, we just celebrated Simchat Torah, the celebration of the Torah. We concluded and we begin the reading of the Torah. So if you can take out your Chumash. Today's Torah portion actually begins right on page 3. In the beginning, God creates heaven and earth. The Torah really gives us our money's worth because there is not one, but two creation stories. The second creation story begins on page 13. It's in chapter 2 at the end of verse 4. So if you want to read over this on your own, you'll see that there is a creation story and then another creation story. I want to just take a couple of minutes to talk about going green today. You know what I mean by going green? Right? Yeah, going green. So we all know the story that God creates humanity, man and woman, and God places them where? In the Garden of Eden. Doesn't get any better than the Garden of Eden. It's the perfect place, the best address you could ever have. They got everything that they want. But look at what God tells Adam and Eve, Adam v'Chava. Go to page 15 if you would. sometimes the English translation just doesn't do it. Doesn't really capture the power of the Hebrew. So I want to look at the Hebrew in verse 15. Vayikach Adonai Elohim et ha'adam, and God took humanity and placed them in the Garden of Eden. Now the last two words, le'ovda u'leshomra. Le'ovda means to work the land, and the word leshomra means to guard it. Guard it. God just tells them two things. Two things. Number one, work the land. In other words, get what you need out of it. You're going to grow your vegetables, whatever. And guard it. Okay, so now I want to ask a question. How have we done as humanity? Remember, this not only speaks to that Adam and Eve there, it speaks to all of us, right? We are all Adam and Eve. How have we done, how have we been doing in guarding, not the Garden of Eden, but this world that God has given us? I know, Robin. Right? Louisa, this comes from last night. No, but what do you say? How have we done with guarding it? Well, God says to them, listen, eat from everything that you want. Eat everything. But, go down to verse 17. But as for the tree of knowledge, good and bad, you must not eat of it, for as soon as you eat of it, you shall die. So, there's boundaries. Enjoy it, guys. Work the land, have a good time. But there's that from which you can do and that which you should not do. So again, I ask the question, how are we doing? How are we doing in guarding the world? Pretty bad, right? Pretty horrible? Because we are living in a now or never situation. We have to say to the kids sitting here, guys, we adults got to get our acts together. Because you deserve a world that is going to work. Going to keep working. And then you'll have kids one day. I know it's a long, long time away. It'll be good for them. And, So it's now or never. And I think the world is starting to get that sense now. Starting to get that sense. Look at the summer that we've been through. It's now or never. So, let's be careful to work the land, get out of it what we need. Not necessarily what we think we need, all of it, I read recently that in California, the percentage of the economy of California of agriculture is like 2% of the economy and the amount of water that agriculture uses up, I think, is like over 50%. Anybody know these statistics? Anybody from California here? Yeah,
I'm a farmer.
You're a farmer. Well, farmers are great people. I think farmers deserve all the water they need. Even if they take up 53% of all the water and only produce 2.5% of the economy. God bless those farmers. And I'm done now. You're a farmer. Yeah, so listen, we need farmers. I live near a couple of farms. Every day I go past a couple of farms. I love it. But you got to really think twice. In a state that is now water poor, and it doesn't really make or break their economy. I mean, we're all grateful for everything that's growing in California. What would we do without it? Well, we'd have to figure out. Maybe it should be growing in a place where there is more water. We're going to have to figure this out because it's our responsibility to use it and to guard it. What do you farm?
Sweet potatoes and greens.
Sweet potatoes and greens. So where do you do this? I know you live in Florida part of the year and in Jersey. North Carolina and Florida.
We used to do it up here, but the ground became too valuable.
Got it. Yeah, that's what happens. Starts getting sold away. Oh, good for you. That's great. That's great. God bless you. Greens and sweet potatoes. Okay. Do you have any sweet potatoes around Thanksgiving you could bring over?
Minimum more than 40,000 pounds.
Oh, sure. I'm in. Okay, that's great. That's great. And I trust that you work the land and you guard it.
Absolutely.
Amen. Okay, let's turn now to the Torah reading this morning. We're going to begin in chapter 5. So let me announce those who have honors to the Torah this morning. Of course, Michael and Courtney have the first Aliyah, and they'll be reading Torah for the first Aliyah. Grandparents, Stephen and Gail, better known as Dee and Gigi, have the honor of the second Aliyah. And Seth, is that you sitting over here? Yeah. So you're going to be reading the second Aliyah, and Zayda and Bubby, Bruce and Linda have the honor of the third Aliyah. Jennifer is going to be reading for the third Aliyah. And then Asher is going to be calling his sister to the Torah for Maya's Aliyah as a bat. Okay, so we're in chapter 5, verse 21, and we can find ourselves on page 30, the bottom of page 31. Yeah. Ya'amdu horei habat mitzvah Moshe Yisrael ben Binyamin ufege Shoshana Devorah bat Shmuel v'Gittel Rishon. Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
ויחי חנוך 5 שנה, ויולד את מתושלח, ויתהלך חנוך את האלוהים. אחרי הולידו את מתושלח 300 שנה, ויולד בנים ובנות. ויהי כל ימי חנוך 5 שנה, ו300 שנה, ויתהלך חנוך את האלוהים. Ve'enenu ki lakach oto Elohim.
Vayahi metushelach 87 shana umat shana. Vayolet et lamech. Vayahi metushelach acharei holido et lemech 82 shana ו700 shana. Vayoled anim uvanot. Vayihiu kol yamei metushelach 69 shana ו700 shana. Vayamot.
Baruch.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Continue on verse 28 with Seth. Ya'amdu Shmuel ben Shlomo v'Shirlei Gittel bat Chaim u'Malka Sheni. Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch.
Amen. Vayhi lemek shetayim u'shmonim shana meot shana vayichlei bein vayikra et Shemo Noach lemor Ze Yachmeu mimatzenu mision Yadenu mihadama Asher Adra Adonai Vayhi lemech achrei halado et Noach hamesh v'tishvim shana v'hamesh meot shana v'yoled banim u'banot Vayhi kol yemei lemech shva u'shvim shana v'shveyot meot shana v'yameot Vayhi Noach ben chamesh meot shana v'yoled Noach et Shem et Ham ve'et Yafet.
We're going to be continuing on page 33, beginning chapter 6. Bruce and Linda, Zaid and Bubby, and Jennifer, please. Ya'amdu Binyamin Rachmiel Ben Meir Michal Sylvia Zipporah Shenu Bat Chaim Leib Bedina Rachel Shlishi.
Baruch
Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'choranu mikol ha'omim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Baruch Shemo.
HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi kechel hadam la'rov al panei ha'adama uvenot yaldu lahem v'iru b'nei Elohim et benot hadam ki tavot hena vayichu lahem nashim mikol asher bacharu vayomer Adonai lo yadon ruchi ve'adam Le'olam b'shagam hu basar v'hayu yemav mea v'esrim shana hanfilim hayu ba'aretz bayamim hahem v'gam acharechem asher yavo b'nei Elohim el benot hadam le'aldu lahem hema hagiborim asher me'olam anshe Hashem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shkoach, folks. Michael, if you'll give us your sister's phone number, we'd like to offer another Torah part. Ha ha ha. Beautiful, really. Jeff Yashkoch. Beautiful. So we have a tradition in Ohev Shalom that when the kids are in the Aleph class of Hebrew school, that the family makes what's known as a wimple or a Torah cover. So let me show you this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Torah cover. Can you all see it? So you see a crown there? You know that our bat mitzvah is nothing less than royalty. You'll hear when Asher calls her up to the Torah that Maya's Hebrew name is Malka. Malka means a queen. And then there is a birthstone of all of the important people in the family. Parents, brother, grandparents, and your dog, right? Yeah, who we've been seeing on Zoom a lot. And it looks to me that there's a sapphire over here. Is this a sapphire, Maya? What's that? So who has a sapphire birthday in the family? Anybody? You do? Me too. Okay. So, great. Okay. Great. By the way, did I understand that this is the anniversary of your bar mitzvah? 58 years. Wow. This Shabbat. Mazel tov. Okay, wow. It's pretty cool. So, at 83, got plenty of time to work on it, but you'll have your second bar mitzvah. Yeah. Okay, Asher. Come on up, buddy. You'll call your sister to the Torah for her aliyah as a bat mitzvah.
Ta'amud, Hava Hora Habat Mitzvah, Malka Hana Bat Moshe, Yisrael V'Shoshana, Devorah Mavtira Hizki.
Good job, Asher.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'Natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Adonai ki rabah ra'at adam ba'aretz v'chol yetzer machshava libo rach kol hayom v'yidnachem Adonai ki asa et adam ba'aretz v'yatzev el libo v'yomer Adonai emche et adam asher barati me'al pnei hadama me'adam ad behema Ad remes ve'ad ov hashamayim ki nichamti ki asitim b'noach matzachem b'nei Adonai. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lani Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'telchenu Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
To offer Maya and myself a blessing in this special honor. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May you be our link to future worlds. And may your hope encompass all the generations to be. May your hearts conceive with understanding. May your mouth speak wisdom and your tongue be stirred face aglow with heaven's radiance, your lips alive with words of wisdom, and your inner self alive with righteousness. And may you always rush in eagerness to hear the words of one more each eternal time. And let us say, Amen.
Friends, we're going to offer a Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for healing and well-being for all those who are dear to us, in need of healing, body and spirit. I spoke to Cantor Paul yesterday. He asked me to extend his regards to everybody and wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. He's still in the hospital, and they have 1,000,001 tests that they're taking, and not taking any over the weekend, but starting Monday it'll be more and more tests. Okay. And all others who are dear to us who are ill. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah Uyivarech v'yirapeh et את כל החולים הקרובים לנו אנחנו מתפללים שהקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחלימם ולרפאותם וישלח להם במהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים רפואת הנפש רפואת הגוף לכל איבריהם וגידיהם בתוך שאר חולי ישראל. שבת היא מלזעוק רפואה קרובה לבוא, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן.
משברח אבותינו מקור הברכה
Bless the ones before us.
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Vishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So if I could invite Uncle David. David, this is your big moment. And Brother Asher, by popular demand, you're coming back up. Okay. Let's all rise as the Torah is about to be lifted. וזאת התורה אשר עשה משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. Torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al gemilut chasadim. Good job.
Al Torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim.
So David deserves a special yasher koach because you could all see that the Torah was all weighted on the left-hand side, and David is right-handed. So David, well done. You can all be seated. And if you can stay with your Chumash, we're going to turn now to Maya's chanting of the Haftarah. Maya will begin with the opening blessing and then the Haftarah for the Shabbat Bereshit, which, as Jan said earlier, is thematically tied and resonates with today's Torah reading. We'll find the Haftarah from the prophet Isaiah, chapter 42, on page 36. Page 36. Amen.
Ten Chaviotircha, Livrid Am Leorgoyim, Liv Kochanai Mivu, Lehoti Mimaskir Asir, Mibes Kelech Yoshvei Choshech, Ani Adonai, Ushemi Ukvodi, Lecher Loiten, Utilati Lapsili, Harishonot Hinevan, Vechadashot, Ani Maki Betem Tifmachna, Ashmi Etchem, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash, Tehillah Miksei Haaretz, Yordei Hayam, Umlo'im, Beyoshveihem. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Tzor kol ha'olamim, Sadik bechol chadarot, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, Ha'omer ve'oseh, Ha'daber u'kayam, Shekol devarav emevad tzedek. Ne'eman, atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devaracha, v'devaracha mivarecha, achor lo yushuv rekam, ki el melech ne'eman, v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch hu baruch shemo.
Ha'el ha'ne'eman v'kol devarav.
Amen.
Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nvi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, l'kadusha v'limnucha, l'kavod u'tifaret, al ha'kol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim la, u'varchim otah, yiparach shemcha, v'fi kol chai tamid, le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai.
Baruch hu baruch shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Beautiful, 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 Maya. Beautiful. I see singing runs in the family. You know, I didn't want to point out your wife by name because then I'd be leaving you out, Michael, but since you bring it up, you know, you did great too, Michael. I heard Courtney's Torah reading before I heard yours for the first time today, and also pretty impressive. You deserve a compliment. In fact, Michael, can you just come on the bima? We're going to give you the Torah. And we're all going to rise for the prayer for Medinat Yisrael, page 332. Okay. Let's put it together. Yeah.
Adonai Eloheinu, Zor Yisrael v'Golo, Marechet Medinat Yisrael, v'Hagen Alecha.
We ask your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, and for the people of Israel. Bless those who defend the land and protect its people. Bless its leaders with wisdom, courage, and dedication. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. May Israel be a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a source of inspiration to all who are free. Fulfill in our day the ancient promise, Zion b'mishpat tipadeh, v'shaveha b'tzedakah. Zion shall be redeemed through justice, and its inhabitants through righteousness.
Amen.
Today is one of those Sabbaths, one of those Shabbatot that is known as a Birkat HaChodesh, Shabbat of the Mevarchim, where we offer the blessing in beginning a new month this coming week. So we'll turn to page 334 for the prayer and the announcement of the new month.
Yehi ratzon milefanecha, Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avoteinu, she'tchadesh aleinu et hachodesh hazeh letovah v'livracha, v'titen lanu chayim arukim, chayim shel shalom, chayim shel tovah, chayim shel beracha, chayim shel parnasa, chayim shel chilutz atzamot, chayim sheyesh bahem yirat shamayim v'yirat chet, chayim she'ein bahem busha uchlima, chayim shel osher v'chavod, chayim she'tehivanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chayim she'yimalu mishalot libeinu letovah. Amen. Selah. Mi she'asa nisim la'avoteinu v'ga'al otam me'avdut lecherut, ויגאל אותנו בקרוב, וקיבץ נדחנו ובכנפות הארץ. חברים כל ישראל, ונאמר אמן. ראש חודש חשוון יהיה ביום רביעי, היום החמישי הבא עלינו, ויהיה כל ישראל לטובה. יחדשנו הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו והכל עמו בית ישראל לחיים ולשלום, לששון ולשמחה, לישועה ולנחמה, ונאמר אמן.
The new month of Heshvan will begin on the 4th and the 5th day of this coming week, beginning on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday. May it be a month of goodness for us and for all Israel. In the new month, may the Holy One, praised be God, bless us and the household of Israel with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and comfort. And let us say Amen. Courtney and Asher, if you'll join us on the Bima. We turn now to Returning the Torah to the Aron Kodesh, page 340.
Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki Niskal, Shema Levato.
Adon Eretz Mishamayim, Vayarem Keren Le'amor, Tehila Lechol Chasidam, Livnei Yisrael, Am Kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
On this day, along with every other day, we feel truly blessed for the love you have given us, Maya, and the examples that you provide for us regularly.
Maya, we're truly honored to be your parents, and we give thanks for the privilege of seeing you grow every day. You're an intelligent, compassionate young woman. You have a strong sense of right and wrong and the courage to stand up for your beliefs. You're very creative, and we hope you'll continue to be an independent thinker.
We hope that you find something you are passionate about, follow your own path, and use your talents to do something remarkable that will make a difference. May your successes be many, and when you don't succeed, may you learn and grow from the experience and go on. Remember to live each day to the fullest so that you can look forward with confidence and look back without regrets. Continue to use your great sense of humor to keep things in perspective.
Take time to appreciate the moment, to find peace and faith within you, build strong friendships, and feel the love of family and friends that embraces you today. We're thankful for your brother Asher and the relationship that you now have. May it continue to get stronger over time.
Maya, may God grant you a long, healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And may God help you be the change you want to see in this world.
Know that we love you, and that wherever life takes you, your entire family is here for you. Mazel tov,
Maya.
It's
Let's all be seated. I'm going to invite us to pay especially close and careful attention as Maya shares with us her really very excellent understanding of the Torah portion today, which includes, of course, creation and then Noah. Maya's Devar Torah. Maya, it's all yours.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is Bereshit, or Genesis in English. The book of Bereshit is mostly about the creation of the world. In Bereshit, God creates the world and Adam and Eve. The portion is also about new beginnings. There are two big examples of new beginnings in Bereshit. The first example is when Adam and Eve are placed in the Garden of Eden. God tells them they can eat anything out in the garden, but not to eat the apples from the tree of life. The snake tricks Eve into eating the apple and sharing it with Adam. Because of their sin, God makes them leave the garden and start their lives outside of the garden. In the garden, everything was given to Adam and Eve, but in the world outside of the garden, they had to find stuff to survive for themselves. The second big example of new beginnings is in the story of Noah and the ark. God told Noah that because people had become evil, he was going to cause a big flood and erase everything that he had created and was going to start over. Since God trusted Noah, he instructed him to take 2 of each animal, male and female, on a boat that God had him build. He also let Noah take his wife and a few other people who were kind to help out on board with the animals. They put the animals on the boat and took them out to sea until the flooding ended. After the flooding stopped, they headed back to the city, which now they had found had been ruined. Then Noah let the animals off and they started again in the city. These 2 stories of new beginnings in Bereshit apply today because COVID has changed the world in so many ways. Of course, it has made so many people sick, but it has also changed how we do so many basic things, such as go to school and going to the supermarket and even going to synagogue. One of the biggest ways that COVID has affected me personally was quarantine. During this time, I couldn't see my friends and family. At first, everyone was taking COVID-19 seriously. Then after a few months, people started to think they didn't have to follow precautions anymore. So around the world, the numbers of death rose. The quarantine was super challenging for me. I am very close with my family, and it was very difficult to only see them outside or at a distance or even online. One good thing during this time was that since everyone had been home, it has all given us all a chance to change how we think about ourselves and our lives, and to just reflect on previous years. It has also given us a chance to change how we think and how we feel, and to treat others and ourselves with kindness. It has given us a whole new perspective on life and how connected people are in the world. I think that most of us took this as an opportunity, and although it was a bit of a challenge, we are all getting through it. The book of Genesis explains the creation of the world. I can relate to this because COVID-19 has given me a new perspective or beginning around the world. So far, most of the harder things in my life have brought me what I need the most. I'm really thankful for my friends and family. The hardest lesson that I have learned in life is that sometimes you have to lose some things to gain even better things. This lesson keeps me going on a day-to-day basis. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher koach. Yasher koach. So Maya, I should say thank you to you because you have given us the zechut. It's a Hebrew word. It means the merit to start the reading of the Torah with a very, very special bat mitzvah and a very, very special young lady. So I'm going to use a big word to describe you, Maya. I didn't know this word when I was bar mitzvah. I don't even know if I knew it when I was in 10th grade. But the word is renaissance. You are a renaissance person. So what is a renaissance person? So, let me tell you what's not a renaissance person. Because most people are kind of like stuck in their own little cubbyhole. Like, tech geeks, they'll just the whole day do techie stuff, right? And people that just play sports, they're like they're jocks. All they do is play sports. You do all these things. Somebody who is involved in all different aspects of life, has the whole picture, the whole panorama, that's a Renaissance person. And you are that Renaissance person, Maya. You got it all over. It's interesting. We just blessed the new month. The new month of Cheshvan has no holidays. So we decided that we would make it a Jewish book month. And the goal is that we all read some Jewish books this coming month. So here you are, Maya. In the past year, you told me that you read 165 books. Yes. Anybody else read 165 books? Asher? Really? Bubby? Well, I did the math. If you read 165 books for Jewish Book Month, in 1 month, you should be able to read 13.75 books in 1 month. But you know what? I don't know. Finding 13.75 books of Jewish interest, I'm not sure. But you know what, Maya? Try to find at least a or maybe 2 books of particularly Jewish interest to read during Jewish Book Month. So here you are. You love to read. How about sports? Sports part of your life at all? Of course it is. So last Sunday when we met, you had played a baseball game that morning, right? Pretty early in the morning. So and your team won, right? So here you are. So you got the reading, the learning, the sports. How about like the arts? Is that part of your life at all? Well, you were taking lessons, weren't you, at Walnut Street Theater? In singing and in stage, you know? Hey, Maya, we're every 2 years the synagogue puts on a show, you know, a full-fledged like Broadway show. This year we're doing the Addams Family. And I see the look. Well, if you were interested, the tryouts are coming up very soon. But I know you love singing and acting, like musical theater. That's what you love to do. How about anything to do with the kitchen?
Never.
What?
Never. I don't like that stuff,
No, you do. You do. Listen, just go along with anything that I'm saying, you know? Because this is all to make you look good, you know? No. You love to bake.
Of course.
Of course. Okay, well, where do you bake? You bake in the kitchen. And your specialty is chocolate chip cookies, right? Right. And sometimes you bake with Dad, right? So, and then how about seeing the world and traveling? You've been to a number of different places, and in a number of places, Spain, Portugal, and Italy, you visited the synagogues there. You get to see some very beautiful, beautiful synagogues. So, you know what, Maya? There are many things that make you a special person. You care about other people. You care about your friends. When somebody needs you, you are there. You care about people that are downtrodden. You care about justice in the world. You know? How many people really care about justice? And how many at the age of 13 really know about caring for justice? You know, Maya, that today there is a women's march happening today. There'll be women all over the country out on the streets trying to, get all of us to see what justice really means. And I'm just looking because I don't know her name off the top of my head, but you do. Because one of your role models in life is Malala Yousafzai. Anybody know who this is? No, you should. Okay, you should. Robin knows. Your Aunt Robin knows. She is a Nobel Prize recipient. You remember there was a young woman who was committed to learning, though it was not permitted in her country, and then she was shot. She was shot in the head, and she, thank God, survived it. And she's like your role model. Wow, I am just so impressed and moved by all this, Maya. So, and one of the things that she said is the quote that you think about all the time. The quote is, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." Wow, Maya. When the whole world, what happens when the whole world is silent? It was said by many people that all that evil needs to kind of, break out evil is for all otherwise good people to just remain silent. A silent good person, how much do we do? So, no. When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. So, one last thing I just want to say, when we were sitting and talking about you, Maya, your brother, who is, usually a younger brother is the best critic of an older sister and knows that person better than anyone else. Asher, you know this young lady better than anyone else. And do you remember what you said about your sister?
I bet you remember.
Listen, Maya might remind you from time to time. I have a quote. I said, Asher, I couldn't help but write it down. You said, "My sister is beautiful and smart." once again. Oh. Okay. So, with all of that, Maya, again, thank you for giving us the zechut to celebrate Shabbat Bereshit with such a special young lady. Certificate of Bat Mitzvah presented by Ohev Shalom to Maya Goldstein. Malka, our queen, Chana, Bat Moshe Yisrael, the Shoshana, Devorah, who was duly inducted as a Bat Mitzvah, the 26th day of Tishrei, 5782, 2nd day of October, 2021. October 2nd, anniversary of my Bar Mitzvah. How do you like that? October 2nd. It was during the holiday of Sukkot at that time. Shabbat Bereshit, Yehi Chelka B'Torat Adonai. May your portion be amongst those who live and labor in the Torah of our God. Give this to you after the service. And within this bag are gifts from the Sisterhood and Men's Club. There is the new translation of the Torah, from which you read today in Hebrew, but there's a translation in English. There are two gifts that come from Jerusalem, where you already have been. And one is a Kiddush cup, and one is candlesticks. And then there's also, don't miss it, here laminated is Cantor Annalise's challah recipe, which Cantor makes every week. Michael, I'm going to leave that to you and the Cantor to work out together. Listen, maybe you'll find a new ingredient from this, and the Cantor can learn a new ingredient from you. Okay. There you go. Okay. We'll have a bake-off. See how it works out. Okay. Michael is the challah master of the family. Great. Okay, Maya. So that's that. I think we're ready to kind of turn to the concluding part of the service. Oh, just 1 second. You know what? Let's do this. Yeah, Mom and Dad, Asher, remember, beautiful and smart. Dee and Gigi, Bubby, Zeta, can you come over here and just stand, not on the bima, but right before the bima? And Maya, if you'll stand facing the Aron Kodesh. Zeta, you know what? Just move a little bit to your right. That's not a political statement. It's just, so we can all get in there. So, as we did before the service began, but let's offer once again the Shechianu, thanking God for this beautiful day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu Lazman hazeh. We praise you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. We're not done yet. Right in the middle of a blessing. Praised are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who keeps us in life and preserves us and bringing us to this day of Maya becoming a Bat Mitzvah. And as we now invoke God's blessings on our Bat Mitzvah, if we all might rise.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Maya, may God bless you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
Adonai make his countenance to shine upon you always.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Maya, may God continue to watch over you now that you achieve the status of a Bat Mitzvah in Israel, and bless you with joy and happiness and love for yourself, for your family, for your people Israel, and all peoples, all humanity. May God bless you always, Maya, with shalom, with peace. And we all say together, Amen. So we can all be seated. We're going to take a moment of Musaf, and we'll find ourselves in the Siddur, in the prayer book, 362. They who keep the Sabbath, calling it a delight, rejoice in your sovereignty, proclaiming Shabbat the most special of all days, recalling Ma'aseh Bereshit, the work of creation. 362, Yismechu.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. העם מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמחו ויתענגו מטובך. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. והשביעי רצית בו בקידש השבת, חמרת ימים וכרת השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא ענק שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת.
Maya is going to lead us in the Ein Kelohenu, which we can find on page 400. If I can invite Uncle and Aunt, Eric and Jennifer, to join us on the Bima. You'll be opening the Aron Kodesh in just a moment. Page 400, Ein Kelohenu.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mihem Eloheinu, Mihem Adonenu, Mihem Malkeinu, Mihem Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shektiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Eketoret Chasani.
402 Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הטוב, לתת גדולה יוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו פינויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כאן, וגור עלינו ככל המונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמך, ושכינתו זו וגם Adonai, Uva Elohim, Bashamai
seated. Today on the 26th day of Tishrei, we observe the yortzites of Sadie Echelman, mother of Vivian Spector, Jack Shacker, grandfather of Gail Goldstein, and Menachem Cooper, grandfather of Merrill Palitz. Those whose yortzites have been observed during the course of this past week leading up to today's Shabbat: Robert Berger, Bernice Barankin, Daniel Lustig, Rhoda Levy, Simon Liss, Jack Sutton, David Solomon, Esther Rhoda, Natalie Levy, Sabina Halstead, Albert Gerson, Bessie Snyder, and Benjamin Gross. And we recall every day and every Shabbat those whom we have lost during the course of this past year. We note with sorrow the passing this past week of Gussie Chudnoff, dear mother of Barbara Rosenzweig. And so we recall the memories of Harold Kurtz, Lou Chaifetz, Rana Silverman, Edward Rosen, David Aronson, Esther Nita Cohen, Mara Lipschitz, Mildred Klein, Jeffrey Berlin, Hollis Cohen, Donald Golden, Michelle Fields, Joel David Kaplan, Sandy Goldstein, Charles Chuck Steinberg, Lily Zimmett, Robin Solis, Beryl Gottesman, Stephen Springer, Mordechai Glickman, Larry David Wiener, and Hannah Steinman. May each of their memories continue to be cherished for a loving blessing. If all those at home who are with us via Zoom, or if anybody in the sanctuary is today reciting Kaddish, I would invite you all to rise. We'll find Kaddish at home on page 410. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yolma divra chirutei v'yamlech malchutei v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach v'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, Yithadar, Yitoleh, Yithalal, Shmedikucha, Berechu, Le'ela, Minpol, Birchata, Beshirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Da'amiran, Bi'olma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu, V'yachol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Aseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yachol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Amen. So, Michael and Courtney, on behalf of our entire synagogue family here at Ohev Shalom, it is for me such a special, special joy to wish you and Asher and grandparents, your parents, grandparents of our bat mitzvah, Mazal Tov on this special day. If I said before that Maya is a very special young woman, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You are, the two of you, two of the most special individuals that I know, and I feel so grateful to have you as part of our synagogue family at Ohev Shalom. Michael, you served for, it may seem like a decade, but you served for some years as the financial chair of the synagogue, which is one of the most difficult jobs there is on the board of directors, to make sure we don't go into the red. And you kept your eye on everything, and for that we're really very, very grateful. And just everything that you bring to our synagogue, you are what we would call balei tzedakah. You really know what tzedakah is, what philanthropy and giving is all about. Maya mentioned before the JRA. It doesn't surprise me that you do that every month, because your hearts are filled with a concern for those who don't have, those who don't have in society, and you find your ways to reach out to them. So really, God bless you both, to have the nachas that you have from Maya in a couple of years. Asher, So we're going from one to the other, You know, I should also, I don't know if you know this, but maybe you do, that when you joined Ohev Shalom X number of years ago, you started like a new wave. Over the years, we could never get people from Huntington Valley. And now, all of a sudden, Huntington Valley is coming to Ohev Shalom, like you started the trend. So there you go. It's great. Great to celebrate together. Great. And to have all of you here in the synagogue this morning, guests, adults, kids, members of our synagogue family here today, and all those who are with us via Zoom. So let me just announce that a lot of things are happening in the synagogue, but this coming Tuesday at 2 o'clock, my new class, Tuesdays with the Prophets and Rabbi, is beginning. A good number of people have already registered. If you haven't registered but would like to be part of the class, we'll be doing this via Zoom online. I'll be sending out the link to the entire congregation. We're going to be having same-day registration. If you just come to the first class, you register, right? Same-day registration. So that's Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Look for the link, Adon Olam, as we're about ready to wrap 412.
Adon Olam Asher Malach V'tereko Yetzir Nivra V'yed Nasa B'chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'yacharei Kiklot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora V'hu
Maya, sweetie, while you're getting ready for Kiddush, I just want to read a letter that I received. Dear Rabbi Perlstein, you know what, if you can get Dad's Kiddush cup that he was given after his service as president of Temple Hillel for some time. Dear Rabbi Perlstein, Maya Goldstein, a member of your congregation, was a camper at Ramah this past summer. Actually, it was a couple summers ago. And we'll be celebrating, although I got this about 6 weeks ago, and we'll be celebrating her bat mitzvah in recognition of this special time. It is our pleasure to enclose this gift from the Ramah community. We would be most appreciative if you could present it to Maya at an appropriate time. How's this? Appropriate time?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Anything I say now, you're gonna say, yeah? Okay. When I said before, I'm gonna say all these things that made you look good, but I only say truthful things, right? Everything is truthful. So, Maya, I know that last year you went to a new camp in Maine because Ramah was closed, and you fell in love with your new camp in Maine. But they still feel a very loving connection with you. So this is from Rabbi Joel Seltzer and the Ramah family. It's the same siddur, not the same one. There's a new one, but the same siddur that you used at camp. Okay, great. So let's all rise for the Shamru and then Kiddush.
Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et ha-Shabbat l'Torah Meritolah v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat l'asot et השמיים ואת הארץ,
ושמרו בני ישראל
את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi. Wait, which prayer am I doing?
It's called the Kiddush. It's
Wait,
on the
which
top,
one?
sweetie.
There's two of them.
No, it's on the top.
Oh,
You know what? For some reason,
I don't see it.
For some reason, this happens every week. Like everything goes perfect,
Is it the
and
top
then
one or the bottom?
this one right here,
Oh,
top one right here.
they look the same.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they change over here.
No, they don't. They're not sexy.
All the prayers look the same. You know. You know one, you know them all. Okay, right here, sweetie.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
L'chaim.
You're done. You're done. But while you're ahead.
That's not grape juice.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom,
One down with the family. Go down with the family.
Shabbat shalom, mevorah. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, mevorah.
Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom, Mazel tov.
Eric.